Hey, everybody. Lieutenant Joe Pangaro here. Now, our podcast, the Blue Heart Webcast, is about everything that goes on in law enforcement. We talk about techniques, training, cases, all those kind of things. My company, Pangaro Training, that you can see the little logo in the corner there, pangarotraining.com, is our website for police training and for training for schools and training for business, all about safety and security. Now, we also have a podcast for school safety and security, basically any facility security, that's called Hope is Not a Tactic. It's been on hiatus for a couple of weeks because we're gearing up for the new school safety season. And I wanted to let you know, I'll talk about more episodes as we go, but you can find it at youtube.com/at Hope is Not a Tactic if you're interested in school safety things. For the moment, I want to tell you about something that we have started doing called Apex simulations. All right. So it's a really neat little logo we got right there. It is electronic tabletop exercise training. It is amazing. Now, tabletops, if you don't understand them, they can be, I always thought they were boring, say, oh, it's a tabletop. What's the value of it? Till I started to use them in real training and real situations at my police department. And what I found was that tabletopping allows everybody on your team to offer their ideas, their opinions, their suggestions, and it can help make planning an operation or an event much better, right? You can use it for anything. I used it with a school district in California. They were in an area prone to forest fires that could devastate everybody, including their school. They have earthquakes. They have all kinds of things in California that they're concerned about environmentally. And the head of the school said, hey, could we do a tabletop on evacuating the school if there was a big fire, right? Fire coming our way. So we created a scenario, and we didn't tell their team that it was going to be an exercise. We just called them all together for an emergency meeting, and I gave them the scenario. Homeland Security had advised us that there's a major wildfire coming towards the school. They had 2 hours to evacuate 500 students, get them off campus, and get them 20 miles away. I said, now, how are we going to do that? And this emergency response team at the school started jumping in with ideas, and they were saying, oh, we'll get them on the buses and we'll do this. And somebody said, well, we don't have buses. We have to call the bus company. So they ran out to call the bus company. And then they had to figure out how many buses would they need? Where would they take them? Could they walk the kids off the property if they couldn't get buses in time, right? It was a great scenario. It went for about 2 hours, and it was really good. Everybody learned something. The head of school learned something. The emergency team learned something about what they needed to prepare for. And that's good. But there were moments when it slowed down, when they discussed things, when they talked about their policy, or they were unsure of a policy or what they should do. And that was good too, but it certainly didn't have realism and stress in the exercise. And we all know that for, training, realism and stress is important for the learning to really take hold. So we started conducting electronic tabletop training scenarios. And these are amazing because they bring that element of stress and they bring that element of realism to the table, because there's not a lot of time for sitting around and questioning your policy. You have to know your policies. You have to know what you need to do. So how it works is we create a scenario, and everybody on your team, your police department, your school, whoever, has to respond to anything, logs in on their computer, and the training begins. It kicks off. There's an event, there's a video clip, or there's an audio clip, or there's an email or a phone call that goes out to everybody on the team. And then based on whatever information comes your way, you have to react in real time. So we've done one with an active shooter where a mother's in the parking lot calling the school saying, I just saw a kid walk up to the front door with a rifle. And then everyone in the school has to react. The emergency management team, the principal, the staff, the chief of security, all of them had to react to the fact that They just get information. Somebody's walking up to the building with a rifle. There's no time to go, what's our policy? What should we do? They had to start reacting immediately to the information that was going on. And as the game runner, and that's what I'm called in the background, I'm watching everybody respond, everybody do what they're supposed to do. And I can add things to the scenario. So I can say, boy, they're really doing a good job of preparing to lock everybody down. Let me throw this in, and I can throw in another event that has another potential shooter shows up at the back door of the school and breaks the glass to get in. Now what do? They have to react to that. So what it does, it seems very real because things happen in real time. Now they can communicate with each other through various pieces of the software that we have. They can do text messaging, emailing, and eventually they'll be able to talk to each other. But the clock keeps ticking, right? This is not like, oh, well, let's stop and think of the 5 things we could. You have to react right now because it's real in real time, whatever's happening. And this can be for any scenario at all. For anything you want to work out how your team would handle it. And it does create that stress. And the probably one of the better parts of this is we all think we have plans, we have ideas, we have policies and procedures. Are they actually going to work in real time, right? So what this does, the software, when the scenario is over, the software then tabulates lots of data that you can retrieve. It helps create a report about what every person in that scenario did. Did they follow policy? Did they not follow policy? Who communicated with who, right? It shows a heat map. So say me, Lieutenant Joe, I'm supposed to be by policy in charge of this event. And I'm supposed to be the one giving the commands. Well, in the heat map, it'll show that in the first 5 minutes, I was good to go. But as the event developed, I became overwhelmed with communications and having to make decisions. And the heat map shows me going from blue, which is calm and a lot of capacity bandwidth to make decisions, to yellow and then to red, which means I was overwhelmed 10 minutes into the scenario and I could not make effective choices. What does that tell me? I have to look at my policy and procedure and say, maybe the person who's in charge needs to have a buffer between them so they can make decisions without answering phone calls and answering questions every minute, right? It shows you who spoke to who. So say Lieutenant Larry over here is the one who he's supposed to be making all the communications to all the players in the game, all the people who are doing things. He's supposed to communicate what to do. And we see that actually Lieutenant Larry wasn't doing that. Patrolman Smith was doing that. And it shows you by this, there's a big red ball and says Patrolman Smith, and you see who Patrolman Smith spoke to. Well, how come it wasn't Lieutenant Larry? In the policy, it says he's the one to do that. So now you have a choice. You can go back and you can adjust your policy. You can adjust the factors that led up to Lieutenant Larry not answering the questions, but Patrolman Smith doing it. It helps you to see in real time what happened during a scenario where no one actually got hurt, but it sure feels real. So as an example, at a company I was working at, we decided we were going to use this and try it. And they were an electronics integrator, millions of dollars worth of property, of equipment in their building, nice building, big building, 80, 90 employees in there. And we ran a scenario since it was not too far away from the ocean and they're prone to hurricanes there. So we ran the scenario called Hurricane Marisa. And basically it was about a hurricane that was coming up the coast and it was going to strike North Jersey as a Category 4. Pretty serious hurricane, right? We do have things like that happen. And at the last minute, the storm takes a turn to the northeast and it's going to slam directly into the South Shore of Long Island where this company was based. All the executives, the response team was on the scenario with us. And we started to run the game. Basically, a news report came on and said, hey, hurricane's changing course. And the weather station says we have 2 hours before it hits us. Now, that information that said you have 2 hours before it hits you, now the owner of the business had to start making decisions. He has 2 hours before a major Category 4 hurricane hits the shore where his business and millions of dollars of stuff is and his employees. Does he send people home? Does he secure the building? What's he going to do? Well, he starts making decisions. And then another report comes in that the storm is coming. It's stronger than they thought. And there's starting to be flooding. And the flooding is now within 2 blocks of his building and his millions of dollars worth of equipment. And then the storm hits and trees are coming down. People can't drive away. Local law enforcement and fire companies are blocked. The roads are blocked. The storm is horrific. And all of these people on this executive team of this company are trying to make decisions. And we throw things in to make it tougher. Well, an employee just decided he's going home. Do you let him go? If the roads are blocked, where's he going to go? Are you responsible for him? Then we had a scenario where the wife of one of the executives calls and said she was stuck on the highway in flooding with her children. What is this executive supposed to do, right? So we amped up this scenario realistically, but boy, stressful. And when it was over, we saw all the data of what everyone did, and it helped them to reevaluate their plans and their procedures so that they would be more prepared. And it was realistic. And one of the executives said to me, I knew this was an exercise, but my heart was pounding. This was so realistic. When they were done, they created a 20-point punch list of things they needed to do around their building to be better prepared for an event like this. That also led them to think about what other things could go on here. What do we do if we have an employee stuck in a storm or flooding, or we have some kind of danger going on? What do we do? What can we prepare for, right? So our Apex Sims can help you no matter what your organization is, no matter what you want to try and understand. It can help you and give you data and test your policy and procedures before there's a real event and it fails terribly, right? So reach out to us at pangarotraining.com. Take a look for our classes. We teach schools, we teach businesses, safety and security. We teach law enforcement classes, but we also do Apex Sims. And I really think you want to take a look at it. It can help you secure your facility, your team, your plans, your policies, your procedures. So thanks for listening. But I'm telling you, this is awesome training that you will have absolutely great benefit from. And it's more affordable than you can imagine. All right, so this is Lieutenant Joe for the Blue Heart webcast talking about Apex Sims and the value of electronic tabletop training. See you down the road.